Alright everyone, so we have some news and announcements for Raid Shadow Legends, including the launch of patch 1.13.5. So we have the official news announcements with the details of patch 1.13 in-game right now, and we can go over all the new stuff. Now I would say this is more of a smaller patch, even though the actual announcement says huge feature update. Little bit questionable on that one. Sure, there are some really cool new things that they did add to the patch, including the new daily login reward system, but it mostly was smaller features. They did actually include some nice bug fixes as well, which I'm pretty happy about. That's going to be closer towards the bottom of the list right here, but we'll get into that in a little bit more detail. I wanted to start off by focusing on probably the biggest feature of this actual patch, and that is the new daily login rewards. So you can take a look at them right now in the daily login rewards screen, and as expected, even if you've been playing the game every single day since it came out, we cannot be any further ahead right now than day 91. So nobody should be past me at this point in the daily login rewards. I can confirm I've been logging in every day since the game came out, so I'm way past 91 days, but this is the point that everyone is going to start off. So it's still going to take 3 full months for everyone in order to get the 2 new epic champions and the new legendary champion. And you can get an overview of the actual rewards here as well. Something that I did notice is that they did throw in glyphs in here as well. You guys can see that we've got some attack glyphs, some HP glyphs here. These ones are 5-star right now. Then if we go over here, we've got the protection and the endurance glyphs spread across this one right here, also 5-star. And in the last month, we've got the speed and the accuracy glyphs, also 5-star as well. Then it looks like they threw in a vitality glyph here, which is actually a 6-star right before the legendary. So we have some superior potions, clan boss keys, energy gems, chickens, artifacts, experience boost silver, you know, a lot of the typical stuff that we also see in the day 1 through 90 login rewards. But additional free stuff to look forward to every day is always nice. You can also take a look at the actual champion overviews as well. We've got Dark Elhine right here and her skills. You can see her in the actual champion index. We've got Lordly Legionary. And finally, of course, we have that new free legendary champion, Cill of the Drakes, at 180 days. So that is the daily login rewards, and it's going to be 3 months before I can tell you guys more information about that legendary champion, because looks like we all got to wait until then. So there is additional stuff, though, that is in the patch notes, so let's get into some more of the actual details. And I wanted to share with you guys something that I noticed. There is actually a new legendary champion that is in-game right now, and they didn't actually highlight it that much. So I want to skip ahead the new platinum tier reward system, because we've known about this for a while. I've talked about it already in several videos. This is really mostly just a whale feature for the top 300 players, so don't really want to highlight too much about that, because most people probably watching this video aren't even really going to get to experience the new revamp of the platinum system. I wanted to skip ahead. We talked about the daily login rewards. We've got here, new champion for St. Patrick's Day. This is really interesting. Not really that big of a section in the actual patch notes dedicated to this. We have Cillian the Lucky, legendary attack magic champion in the Banner Lords. And if you actually go to the champion index and you go to the Banner Lords, you will be able to see Cillian the Lucky right here. And we can actually take a look at their skills and see. So first skill right here, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 35% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Each hit also has a 35% chance of stealing 30% of the target's current turn meter. And as you can see, skill books can boost that up by 15%. That's a very interesting auto attack skill right there, or attack 1, whatever you want to call it. Seems pretty powerful with that decreased speed. Also has a chance of leeching turn meter from the enemy. Very, very good. I guess the biggest downside is that this is an attack-based champion, so definitely going to be very squishy in a lot of endgame encounters, but for an attack 1 skill, this seems extremely powerful. We move on to the second skill right here. Attacks one enemy, has an 85% chance, which you can boost with skill books to 100%, of placing a block cooldown skills debuff for 4 turns. Also has a 35% chance of placing a block cooldown skills debuff on all other enemies for 1 turn. So that looks like it can be boosted from 85 to 100%, but of course the 35% can be boosted up to 50%. So very interesting that it's single target, but also has a chance of being spread to all other enemies right there. We have the third skill, attacks one enemy, has a 75% chance, which can be boosted up to 100% with skill books, of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Has a 25% chance, I guess 40%, of placing the stun debuff for 2 turns, and stealing 50% of the target's current turn meter. Resets the cooldown of the skill if the target is killed. Interestingly about this skill is it has a 5-turn cooldown, but it's got that double cooldown reduction with skill books, so you can actually lower it down to a 3-turn cooldown. Even if you don't get the cooldown reset from the target being killed, it still has a pretty short cooldown regardless. We've also got this very crazy passive skill, which definitely reminds me of Shamrock, luck-based RNG elements in this passive here. You know, some people are going to like that. Some people feel like there's already enough RNG in this game as it is, so probably going to be turned away by a skill like this. But places one of the following buffs on this champion for 2 turns at the start of each turn: a 50% increased attack buff, a 30% increased crit damage buff, a 30% increased crit rate buff, a 25% strengthen buff, or a block damage buff. Now there's a couple of upsides to this. Obviously there's the obvious downsides of having to rely on RNG, but for the more common buffs like increased attack, increased crit rate, you're probably already either going to have those in your team already or already be at 100% crit rate, so you don't want to have to rely on RNG in order to get those abilities to proc. But for the newer buffs like the crit damage and the strengthen, those don't really exist on that many champions, so it's going to be unlikely that you have other champions in your team that already have those buffs. So if you get them on this champion, it's kind of going to be an additional bonus that you wouldn't normally have anyway. So, there's obviously the RNG factor. It's nice that it lasts for 2 turns, and you get one of these buffs every turn, so you can kind of have 2 of them active at the same time. Definitely interesting. And then, of course, the passive increases ally attack in all battles by 25%. So let me know what you guys think about this new legendary. Now, again, if you go back to the actual patch notes, you will see that there's really... Whoops, that's the daily login rewards. You'll see that there's not really much notice about this champion besides that one little thing here. So we don't know if there's going to be any way to get this champion besides just pulling from shards, but I didn't see anything about getting this champion for free. I didn't see anything about an upcoming fusion. That would obviously be nice, but besides this little blurb that we see right here about the fact that the champion actually exists, my understanding is, as of right now, the only way to actually get this champion is going to be from shard pulls, unless something happens in the future, or we do get a future fusion that involves Cillian the Lucky. It's going to be very unlikely that many people are actually going to have access to it. So, but if you do, it seems like an interesting legendary nonetheless. So, moving on to some other stuff here. This is a big change right here. Increased number of lesser potions that drop from stages 12 through 15 of Affinity Keep. So I thought that this was already implemented, but apparently it hasn't. Now it has gone up from a minimum of, I believe, 3 or 4 up to 7. So that's definitely going to make a drastic difference. And maybe in a video in the future, I'll go through the actual math and numbers of how much energy you actually save now with this change being implemented, farming Ascension Potions for champions versus what it used to cost you before. But it's definitely going to be a pretty significant amount. Gold Battle Pass level indicator. Okay, so let's see. Champion rebalances and fixes. Now, this is another major change to a rare champion who is now going to be extremely good. And in fact, I think this is the next rare champion that I'm going to work on, because I want to talk about this in more detail with a video in the future. But they actually changed Frozen Banshee's poison sensitivity on her 3rd skill. Old version had a 10% chance of placing poison sensitivity debuff for 2 turns, which increased for each debuff on the target. So you had to have a lot of debuffs in order to actually place the poison sensitivity. But now you no longer have to rely on those debuffs. It just automatically gets the poison sensitivity. And if you take a look at Frozen Banshee in the actual champion index, you will see here that her 3rd skill, attacks one enemy, places a 25% poison sensitivity debuff for 2 turns. And you can lower that down to a 3-turn cooldown as well. And this could be huge. This is definitely a potential game changer for the clan boss. On top of that, she actually has a very strong skill kit regardless of the skill. So that's the main feature of her, of course. But she also has a poison on her auto attack. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has an 80% chance, which you can boost up to 100% with skill books, placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns if the target is under poison sensitivity. Well, now that she has a 100% chance to apply poison sensitivity on her 3rd skill, you're always going to get that double stack of poison right there. So you know, you're looking at a very, very strong rare champion that I'm absolutely going to be taking to 60 and doing some testing within the clan boss. And you have our 3rd skill too here. Attacks on enemy, fills the turn meter of all allies by 2% for each debuff on the target. Now this skill still relies on that needing multiple debuffs to really get a lot of effectiveness from it. I think it's good. I think it could see some crazy implications if you can get an insane amount of debuffs on the target, but you are relying on that massive amount of stacks. So you're going to need a really good team that synergizes very well together with lots of poison stacks, lots of debuffs in order to get the true effectiveness of this skill right here. But I think she's definitely moved from kind of like a mid-tier, you know, average-ish rare to could possibly be one of the best rares in the game now when we do some more testing with this poison sensitivity. But that's another really, really big thing that I noticed and absolutely want to bring her up to 60 now because of that. So going back, there's a couple of other little things here as well. Like I said, I don't want to really mention too much about the arena stuff because whale stuff, we've already talked about it a lot. Let's see, multiple skills to prevent the target from reviving were fixed and work now as intended when War Master or Giant Slayer masteries are activated. Here's a list of champions and their affected skills. So that's a pretty big thing right there for the revive. I know that was a problem. A couple of people were messaging me about that on the Discord. A lot of champions actually had that problem and had that change right there, including Armiger as well, one of the best uncommon champions in the game. Due to significant recent balance changes, we reset the ratings for the following champions. Fixed Septimus's AI. By the way, I forgot to mention in the video the other day where I was talking about extending buff durations, I forgot probably one of the best champions in the game, the best legendary, or one of the best legendaries alongside Warlord with extend debuffs is also going to be Septimus. I totally forgot to include him in the video. I mentioned him as a legendary, but I forgot to actually go over him and talk about him in specific. So also fixed his AI is going to make him even better right there. And here we go. We have all of these bug fixes and quality of life features. I really wish we had this kind of stuff more frequently. This should be a weekly or bi-weekly thing where they should just be going through and cleaning up a lot of stuff in the game that needs polishing and fixing. So clan boss damage, completion notifications, weaken debuff is displayed, strengthen debuff is displayed, spiderlings descended into already frozen, sending support tickets, removed a bug that caused the screen blur. I actually had this problem quite a bit. It was very frustrating because it caused the whole lower half of the screen to be blurred every time I exited dungeons. Fixed various player and play crashes. Remove the red dot indicator from the Battle Pass Weekly Challenges tab for those who have not acquired a gold Battle Pass. This is a big one, especially to those of you guys who have OCD and, you know, just get bugged out by stuff like that. Don't worry, nothing to be ashamed of because I am 100% that way as well. That thing drives me crazy. So if you guys can give me the confirmation that that red dot has gone away, I still have some rewards and stuff to claim there, so it's still going to be there for me, at least until maybe later today. But that's definitely a big change, and I know that a lot of people are getting really bugged out about that. Fixed a connected player ID achievement, fixed how in-game guides displayed on Android, fixed the slider with Battle Pass champions, and several issues with the authentication. So, you know, like I said, this doesn't really seem to be a huge feature update like the actual notification is, but, you know, it's still got some decent changes. The login rewards are cool. I think there's some quality of life changes that are cool, and really interested to test out the new poison sensitivity as well. So that's pretty much everything related to 1.13.5. Now, there's a couple of other little things as well that I will mention in-game news announcements before ending off this video. One of them is if you guys do have the Amazon Prime rewards, there is a new set of rewards that you can get. Can't see it on the video right now because I'm using Player Play. You have to either log in with BlueStacks, which I have a link in the description, or you have to log into an actual mobile device to see it. But there's some new stuff. I believe it's Void Potions and Void Shards that you can end up claiming from that right there. When it comes to tournaments and events, we've got no tournaments going on right now. They just finished off, and then we only have one event, and it is the champion training event. It ends today. It's a 5,500 point one, and I did notice that they actually slightly changed the way the points work on this champion training. They rebalanced it a little bit. Looks like you get some more points for upgrades, but a little bit less points for levels. It's similar, but not quite exactly the same as the points that we've had, which is kind of a big deal because for the longest time, every champion training event has had the exact same point structure, and this is the first time in a while that they've actually changed it. Now, in terms of the rewards, they're pretty meh. You could see not even a legendary tome, just one epic skill tome, one ancient shard, a few gems, potions, and silver. So if you guys haven't been working on this champion training or you're going to miss out, definitely not a big deal. This is one where you can feel pretty confident in skipping over. And the last thing is make sure, because we did have an update today, make sure that you guys do end up claiming your rewards from the mailbox. They disappear in 2 days. Very easy to accidentally forget about that. So we've got a refill bag, an energy refill, and a clan boss key waiting for you in the mailbox. So that's going to be it for the video today. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you all think about these changes, patch 1.135 in general. And with that being said, thank you for watching. Have a great day, everyone. If you want to help out, toss a quick like. It means more than you can imagine. Subscribing to the channel, thank you very much, guys. We are well over 30,000 subscribers now, so the support has been tremendous. And have a great day, everyone. Take care, and until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.